Check. Hello. Check. Check. Dear comrades, we're going to perform the WFTU anthem now in both Hindi and for the first time in Kannada. Can we check the track, please? In loud voice. So in a loud voice, I would like to announce that we are singing the WFTU anthem in Hindi and for the first time in Kannada. Here we go. Restart the track, please. सन 45 में तुम पेरिस में जन्मे, अब ताड़ की तरह तुम बुलंद हो खड़े। सन 45 में तुम पेरिस में जन्मे, अब ताड़ की तरह तुम बुलंद हो खड़े। दहकते सूरज के तले परछम है लाल हमारा, दुनिया के मजदूरों की एकता बनाया। तुम काले हो या गोरे हो, अरबी या यूरोपी, तुम एशिया के हो अमरीकी या अफ्रीकी। तुम काले हो या गोरे हो, अरबी या यूरोपी, तुम एशिया के हो अमरीकी या अफ्रीक इनकलाबी काफिला निकल पड़ा है हर तरफ, ना रोक सके उसे कोई, आंधी हो या कोई बर्फ। तुम्हारे दिल में है जगह हर मजदूर के लिए, तुम जोड़ते हो सबको नए समाज के लिए। तुम्हारे दिल में है जगह हर मजदूर के लिए, तुम जोड़ते हो सबको नए समाज के लिए। पूंजवाद का नाश हो यही हमारा नारा, साम्राज्यवाद का नाश हो यही हमारा नारा। इनकलाब जिंदाबाद यही हमारा नारा, इनकलाब जिंदाबाद यही हमारा नारा, यही हमारा नारा, यही हमारा नारा। लाल सलाम। We're going to perform the Kannada version of our anthem. Restart. Little more. ಸಾವಿರದ 1945 ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ ನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ ಜನಿಸಿದೆ ನೀನು. 1945 ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ ನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ ಜನಿಸಿದೆ ನೀನು. ಅಂಬರವ ಚುಮಿಸುವ ಮರದಂತೆ ಬೆಳೆದೆ, ದೇಶ ದೇಶದ ಗೆಳೆತನ ನಿನ್ನ ಆಯುಧವೇ. ಲಾ FSM, ಲಾ FSM. ಎಲ್ಲ ದುಡಿವ ಜನರನ್ನು ಆಲಿಂಗಿಸಿದೆ ಸಾಗರದ ಹಾಗೆ. ಏಷ್ಯನರು ಆಫ್ರಿಕನರು ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ನೀನು ಒಂದಾಗಿ ಬಿಗಿದೆ. ವರ್ಗದಾಧಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಘರ್ಷ ಅದುವೇ ದಿವ್ಯ ಗೀತೆ. ಜಗದ ಉದ್ದಗಲಕ್ಕೂ ಮೊಳಗತೊಡಗಿತು ಈ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿ ಗೀತೆ. ಲಾ FSM, ಲಾ FSM. ಕರಿಯರು ಬಿಳಿಯರು ಕೂಡಿ ಹಾಕುವೆವು ಸವಾಲು, ವರ್ಗ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಮೂಡಲಿ ಹೊಸ ಬದುಕು. ಕರಿಯರು ಬಿಳಿಯರು ಕೂಡಿ ಹಾಕುವೆವು ಸವಾಲು, ವರ್ಗ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಮೂಡಲಿ ಹೊಸ ಬದುಕು. ಬಂಡವಾಳವಾದ ಕೊನೆಗೊಳಿಸೋಣ, ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯಶಾಹಿಯನ್ನು ಸೋಲಿಸೋಣ. ಬಂಡವಾಳವಾದ ಕೊನೆಗೊಳಿಸೋಣ, ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯಶಾಹಿಯನ್ನು ಸೋಲಿಸೋಣ. ಇನ್ಕಲಾಬ್ ಜಿಂದಾಬಾದ್, ಲಾ FSM. ಇನ್ಕಲಾಬ್ ಜಿಂದಾಬಾದ್, ಲಾ FSM. ಇನ್ಕಲಾಬ್ ಜಿಂದಾಬಾದ್, ಲಾ FSM. ಇನ್ಕಲಾಬ್ ಜಿಂದಾಬಾದ್. ಲಾಲ್ ಸಲಾಂ. ಜೈ ಭೀಮ್.
Comrades, I request the delegates and participants in the inaugural session of the 17th Conference of Citu to please take their seat. The inaugural session of the conference is just now to take off. I request Comrade Hemlata, President Citu, to please come on the dais. I request our guests, the General Secretary of WFTU, Comrade Plumbis, to please come on the dais. I request our guests and brothers from other central trade unions who agreed to grace this inaugural session. Comrade Chandrasekharan from INTUC, Vice President INTUC, to please come on the dais. Comrade K. Somasekhar, has he come? K. Somasekhar, AIA UTUC, Vice President, Comrade Clifton. The inaugural session as usual. And at the end, I also request the General Secretary of All India Kisan Sabha, Comrade Biju Krishnan, General Secretary of All India Agricultural Workers Union, Comrade Venkat, to please come on the dais. They are also our honored guest to the 17th Conference of Citu. So, Comrade, with this I hand over Comrade Hemlata, President of Citu, to please take over conducting the inaugural session of the conference. Comrade Hemlata.
Comrades,
Comrade Amanullah Khan, President Reception Committee, please come on the dais.
comrades, we will start the inaugural session now. Please settle down. All the comrades are requested to please take their seats. Comrades, all the comrades are requested to please take their seats. We will start the session now. Yes, comrades. On behalf of the CITU Secretariat, I welcome all of you to the 17th conference of CITU. Our session, before the session, we thank all the cultural team for the very good performance outside the hall and also the songs that they have rendered here. And now I request C.K. Subbarao, eminent lawyer and chairperson of the reception committee, to welcome the gathering, to deliver his welcome address.
Comrades, why I do not hear any applause at all? What is all this? This doesn't look like a revolutionary working class movement. I expect every one of you to applaud and arise. Please. Before I start, I would like to say, Inquilab! 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 Yes. Thank you. I will now read my written speech. I think it has been distributed to every one of you. It gives, dear comrades, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you to all the 17th All India Conference of Central Trade Union CITU being held in the city of Bangalore from 18 to 22nd January 2023. I specially extend a warm welcome to Comrade Pambis Christie's General Secretary, World Federation of Trade Unions, President and General Secretary of CITU, and leaders of all the other central trade unions and fraternal trade unions. We consider it a privilege to host the 17th All India Conference of CITU, which is the most active trade union and working class movement with a purpose as laid down by the erstwhile revolutionaries. The guiding factor for any trade union is based on class struggle, which was initiated and propounded by Karl Marx. This is the second All India Conference which the city of Bangalore is hosting. The first was in the year 2005. I am sure a large number of you would have participated in the first conference at Bangalore. So second, Bangalore is now a new place for you. Still, it is appropriate to narrate briefly the history of Bangalore. Bangalore has a first historical document. I think I am going to skip off the first page. Now, please turn to, I would like you, I am reading from the harmonious, multilingual local people and locational advantage won the preference for Bangalore to develop as a center of major public sector undertakings. It naturally developed as a great center for higher education with the establishment of prestigious institutions with the adoption of the new liberal economic policies. The gigantic public undertakings of Bangalore are dismantled or the process of being disinvested. However,
With the availability of huge skilled labor, Bangalore converted itself as the information technology capital Silicon Valley of India. Today, Bangalore has emerged as one of the fastest growing metropolis of the world, with a population rising from 1 million in 1951 to 13 million now. More than 25 million people are skilled working class in the state of Karnataka. Are among these working class, CITU commands substantial influence. But we have to do much more in uniting the working class, not only in the public sector, but also in the private sector. The working class of Bangalore has to understand the challenges and draw out strategies to successfully meet them. The 17th All India Conference of CITU is being meeting at a time when intellectuals have protested, and their protests have occurred throughout the world. The economic crisis has led to unprecedented levels of unemployment, and rising prices are hurting the living standards of the working class. The economic policies of the union government are leading to growing inequalities, and today India has become one of the most unequal societies in the world. It is unfortunate that many fundamentalist and divisive forces are dividing the working class, the consequences of which the wealth produced by the working class is at the hand of few capitalists, and these capitalist forces are influencing the governance. They attempt to homogenize the Indian society, ignoring its rich diversity, is a threat to the very unity and integrity of the country. The basic character of the constitution is being questioned by these in power. There is also an attempt to belittle the role of the judiciary. The recent statement of some of the politicians add to this attempt. The working class, which produces the wealth, deserves much more required attention to improve their conditions of service, not only economically, but also politically. It is most unfortunate that the government, instead of returning to the post of the government service through constitutional provisions, is resorting to unfair methods for recruitment to third-party agencies for the posts which are sovereign nature. These are serious challenges which the working class most forcefully confront. I am sure this conference will deliberate upon these important issues and take necessary decisions to protect the unity of the working class and the nation. The working class today is facing a multitude of problems, both in the organized and unorganized sector. The CITU has been a leading great battle to defend the hard-won rights of the working class. It has organized a number of industrial actions, both at the All India level and at different sectors. Since the last conference of the year 20, I am confident that CITU will continue to lead the struggle for the dignity of the working class. It's not easy. It is not easy task to organize such a huge conference, and that too in a city like Bangalore. While organizing to conduct the conference, the volunteers and members of the Karnataka State CITU have received huge support from the sections of the working class, albeit some reluctance from the divisive forces. The reception committee has made all efforts to make you comfortable in Bangalore and to facilitate their smooth conduct of the conference. However, I am aware that despite the efforts, there could be some shortcomings. Please bring such shortcomings to the notice of the reception committee. We will make efforts to overcome them. I hope you would appreciate the efforts that we have made. Efforts we have put in hand. Extend your cooperation to the smooth conduct of the conference. I once again welcome you to the city of Bangalore, and I am confident that the 17th All India Conference of the CITU will be a glorious success. So and so. Additional part, I have got to, in addition to this, I please request you and please respond that we believe, please, every one of you, please raise your hands. We believe in the working class unity, Zindabad, working class unity, Zindabad. Workers of the world should unite. We will not allow the forces to divide, any forces to divide the working class. Working class includes all toiling masses. All are irrespective of the status of the work. We will not allow the working class to be used as a tool to make them work in manuals or to perform manual scavenging. We will not beg the management for improvement of conditions of service, but we will demand it as a matter of right, since we have the rights on the fruits of production. The profits are nothing but surplus value. Our right is not only an economic right, but also a political right, because we are the producers of the wealth. Thank you, Congress.
Been given the equipment, the headsets for simultaneous translation. So simultaneous translation is going on. All comrades are requested to use their headsets so that they can understand the proceedings in their own language.
Channel number is it? I'll collect it.
The channel number, the details of the channel number in which language will come will be given just now. So comrades, we thank Comrade K. Subbarao for the very encouraging and inspiring welcome address. You know, he is over 90 years, and at this age, he has not only agreed to be the honorary president of the reception committee, and he has extended all support and has come here to deliver the welcome address. We again thank Comrade K. Subbarao. Now I request Comrade Tapan Sen, General Secretary of CITU, to make the introductory remarks.
Comrades, we are the deliberation of the 17th All India Conference of CITU is going to start. In this inaugural session, We are grateful to our honored guest, the General Secretary of World Federation of Trade Union, leading the World Trade Union movement with a clear class orientation. And that is that orientation, to sharpen that orientation. The 17th conference is going to deliberate and take up one of the prime tasks in carrying on the combat against the most barbarous neoliberal capitalist regime and its nasty reflection and its authoritarian reflection on the political regime, that's political governance, and also its poisonous impact on the entire society by those in governance operating as an agent of neoliberal capitalist corporate class to make their fortune in the face of very quick-paced pauperization of the Indian people, particularly those who are creating wealth for the country, who are keeping the country's economy somehow running, who are still contributing to the India's independent position in terms of economic might. They are the target of the barbarous, brutal attack and being pushed to a situation of destitution. At the same time, country is losing their self-reliance, which we gradually built up during last 75 years of independence. And the utter criminality that the whole country is facing, that while doing these criminal deeds, the present dispensation in governance are trying to camouflage and misguide and divert people with the active support of the mainstream media and the entire governance machinery. Never before the country's people are facing that kind of a challenge. 17th conference is going to take up this challenge. We are fortunate that even this conference also they graced by their presence our colleagues in the central trade unions and our colleagues in different independent All India federations from INTC, from AITC, from HMS, from UTUC, from TUCC, from AIUTUC, AICCTU and SEWA and LPF. This combination of 10 central trade unions. All our colleagues are present over here. And my initial expression that I presented before you, the joint trade union movement is absolutely on the same wavelength, and premised on that wavelength, the joint trade union movement has been trying to carry on the intervention, united intervention of the working class against this anti-people, anti-national, destructive regime. And in that process, we collectively reached a realization that we are fighting not merely to defend the right of the workers, right of the peasantry, right of the producing class, but also the right of the people, and also defend our dear country. When we are combating an anti-national conspiracy, it is also, the working class is also destined to pilot as a leading force in the society a determined patriotic struggle, and hence the call from our latest two-day strike we have given that we are fighting to save the people and save the nation. We are again, I express my gratitude to my colleagues here of the all central trade unions who came here to greet our conference. We are extremely grateful to the General Secretary of WFTU who has also graced this conference and will address the delegate session. We are also grateful to our comrades, delegates who came all over the country with due preparation to deliberate on the task to combat the present challenges, which is not merely a challenge before the working class, which is not merely a challenge before the producing class. It is a challenge before the entire humanity. When the systemic crisis of neoliberal capitalism has creating its destructive impact on the economy, on the political system, dampening on the democratic exercise and cultivating poisons in the society, the poisons of divisive polarization, only to benefit the handful of corporate, both domestic and foreign. Then national interests take the back seat. Interest of the people takes the back seat. And in such kind of a situation, the challenge is then huge before us. But at the same time, we must assert with confidence that during this period, the trade union movement has continued its intervention without any gap, both at the national level and also at the sectoral level. And during last 4 years since our conference, we have traveled through an untraveled path, particularly created by the situation of pandemic, lockdown, restriction, and taking advantage of that, the criminal onslaught on the rights of the working people, rights of the entire producing class, and the self-reliant foundation of the national economy, taking advantage of that lockdown. So in that kind of a situation, we have experienced a lot. The entire country's trade union movement, Citu is an integral part of that. On the premise on that experience, and that experience gives us confidence. Howsoever powerful you may be, ultimately we cannot allow you to sell out our country. However powerful it may be, you cannot put the country to auction. Howsoever powerful it may be, of cultivating disruption and division in the society will not finally succeed. People will identify the crimes being committed on the people through their economy management, political management, and societal governance management by the capitalist corporate class and their political agents in the government. They will identify the crime and combat the criminality on the nation. And that's why the clarion call of our struggle is to save the people, save the nation. With this task, I believe this conference during coming 4 days will deliberate, review our experiences, identify our strength, at the same time identify our shortcomings, identify to which section of the working people who are yet to reach, which must be reached, and people must be made to identify their real enemy. That is the task before this entire conference, and that can be advanced by making people identify their real enemy and also heightening our struggle to the level of defiance and resistance. No more persuasion. They cannot be pursued to do the right thing. They are indulging in this criminal exercise on the national economy and the society. So it has to be a defiance and resistance. And our last 4 years of experience says, wherever we defied, wherever we combated, we could make them retreat. Be it in the electricity sector, be it in the coal sector, be it in the other sectors of the economy, there are many successes of making those criminals retreat. Defiance and resistance is the buzzword of our future strategies. And we are planning this at Citu platform. We are working on this prescription on our joint platform along with the Kisans, which is also one of the major component of the struggle we are integrated in, and at the same time, the united platform of the Central Trade Unions and Independent Federation, simultaneous exercise is going on to plan our future course of action, to combat, to make them retreat, and finally throw out these elements from the right of the governance of this country. That is the target, that is the goal with which Citu will try to make its own organizational exercise in this 17th conference of Citu, and I hope our entire delegation will rise to the occasion and with the best wishes to be conveyed by our friends and colleagues of other central trade unions, that will be an important energy for our delegations to carry on their review, their organizational task, to prepare for a heightened, defying combat to save the people and save the nation. With these few words, I welcome again and our basic understanding about the task before the conference I presented before you. With this, I conclude. Inqilab Jindabad.
Now, Comrade Devrai will make an announcement related to the simultaneous translation.
Comrades, simultaneous translation in 6 languages are going on. That is become the practice of Citu. So, delegates, hopefully all of you have collected the instruments along with the registration. 1 or 2 comrades, I believe, who has missed, you should collect it. This is number 1. But before that, you have to note down the which channel, which language, and frequency. That you note. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand smoothly. First, please note down channel number 1, language English, frequency 72.3. Channel number 1, English language, frequency 72.3. Channel number 2, Hindi, frequency 72.5. Channel number 3, Tamil, frequency 72.7. Channel number 4, Telugu, frequency 72.9. Channel number 5, Malayalam, 75.5. Channel number 6, Kannada, frequency 75.7. Channel number 7, Bengali, frequency 75.9. So you have to put the proper channel and adjust the frequency number also. When I went to the ground, some comrades said they are getting disturbance because they did not put the proper frequency also. It is to match channel number and frequency. I'll request that with a great expectation, practice and expenditure, this arrangement has been made. All the delegates should put and utilize the machine and understand the speeches in your respective languages. Thank you.
Yes, comrades, as already Tapan has informed, and it has been a regular practice in all our conferences to invite the central trade unions with whom we are working in a joint platform. So we have with us the leaders of INTUC. Comrade Amarjit Kaur has just reached. Comrade HMS, from HMS, Comrade VP Nagnath will be joining. Comrade Somasekhar from AIUTC is here. Comrade B. Rajendran Nair from TUCC is also here. Sonia George from SEWA, she will be reaching soon. Comrade Clifton from AICCTU, V. Veluswamy from LPF, and Comrade Ashok Ghosh from UTUC are also here. So first, I request Comrade R. Chandrasekharan, Vice President of INTUC, to extend his greetings to the conference. R. Chandrasekharan ji.
Thank you, Madam. The President of the function, Comrade Hemalata, Sri Tabanda, our sister Amarjit Kaur is coming, so I extend my welcome to Sister Amarjit Kaur. Leaders on the dais, fraternal delegates, different trade union leaders, my brothers and sisters. It gives me immense pleasure to address this very important national conference of the Center of Indian Trade Unions, CITU, on behalf of Indian National Trade Union Congress and also on behalf of Dr. G. Sanjeev Reddy. I wish you all success in your conference. Not only the conference, your future endeavors and future struggles which is planned today and other 3-4 days to come. It is very important that the National Conference of the Trade Unions, which is being discussed about the modalities, future plan of agitations, and for that moment, we consider it is very important that the CITU conference gives maximum support for the total trade union movement in the country. Comrade Tapan is our elder brother. We always look at him and his team to deliver very strong platform to support the trade union struggles in the country. We all know there is no much need of any explanation of the present government in the country. What is their agenda? What is their procedures? What is their programs? And how that will damage the country? They want to divide each community separately. They want to divide people. They want to divide and make use of that division for their acquiring power. We never expected such a situation in this country. We all know, I don't take much of your time, we all know when the freedom was given to India, how the programs and developments take place in this country. 5-year plan, programs started by the first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and his visionary decisions on this country's progress. More loudly we can say mixed economy policies brought in by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Now again, we are all talk about the competition between the public sector and private sector. So long back, the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's ideology and vision, his programs and governance provided the country's overall progress. Later on, during 90s, the country has switched over to liberalization, privatization policies. We may differ each other, whether that change was good or bad. There are differences of opinions. We believe that new economic policy brought in several good things. At the same time, several unexpected bad things behind it. Naturally, the country's wealth generation, its production, its commercial activities, profit and loss, sustainability of the growth, everything was, on those days it was in a crossroad and it was in trouble. There were a lot of governments change. That government brought in their own agendas, combined political party organizations, formed the governments, and there were a lot of confusions, and finally, those days the economy of this country was doomed down. So, from there, the struggles which has been carried out by different political parties, that has reached the present situation of the political arena of this country. Unfortunately, the progress that has been made by this country by different governments has been now under serious threat. Now the communal division takes place. Overall progress and unity of the people of this nation is under severe threat. So there needs a total relook into the activities, in the affairs, in the ongoing governance of this country. For that, we are struggling for getting the trade unions together. We are struggling for getting all workers bring to a common platform to oppose the anti-national, anti-labor policies of the Narendra Modi government. To some extent, we are achieving some good momentum, good results. But at the same time, the core sectors in the country has been totally scheduled for privatization. Big industries, insurance sector, financial sector, all the sectors are under serious problems faced. What is the agenda of the government? Nobody knows, including the Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh. They are not agreeing with the policies of the government to some extent. They oppose the programs brought in by the Modi government. They are also very strongly criticize the government. But this government go ahead with their private agendas. They want to take India into a different economy, a different power, where the Hindu communities are the only communities which can be in the forefront for governance. It is quite dangerous. The trade union workers have no community at all. We have only one community. That is in India, only one community, that is the working class community. There is no other community. For that, we have started our joint trade union movement in the country for last more than 10-11 years. But we are not totally achieving our goals because we are not able to stop the entire transport system. We are not able to bring Indian railways into mainstream of struggles. We are not able to do other major sectors to come together to put forward in the work stoppage and national strikes. So that shows, though we are mobilizing our workforce in a common platform, the impact, financial impacts are there, we know that. But who cares the financial impact? The central government will never care about the financial impact and problems of the people. The impact on the struggles, 1 day strike, 2 day strike, this strike is not giving an impact on the common life, common people life. That also we are struggling. We are in constant contacts with those unions also, those federations. What is the future ahead? There has to be some understanding, some sort of consensus between the trade unions and their political organizations. Slowly it is coming out, but still lot of differences are cropped up. Unless until all the trade unions, including BMS, all the federations, all the political organizations come together to fight it out, to bring this Modi government, communal government down. I am doubtful to get into the full benefit of our unity struggle. We know the limitations of the international forums. I can see world leaders sitting on the dais. But the international trade union organization, ILO, ICFTU, ITUC, WTF, all these organizations has got their own limitations to come and perform. I was in the ILO governing body for about 7 years. What is their approach? What is their decision-making system? How far that is beneficial to the working class? How far they are able to compel the governments, to pressurize the governments, to agree to the workers' issues and workers' demands. So the entire system has to be totally revamped, and now the prices are going up. Our export-import ratio is coming down. India is facing acute financial problems. Our border countries are not happy with us. Internal differences are cropping up. Even between the states, lot of differences are coming up. So altogether, what is the result? After BJP come into power in 2014, the country's performance as a whole is under major question. BJP may not understand this because they have the communal agenda alone. If this country is losing its credibility, if this nation is under question mark from international UN and other agencies, if the country's government is under question from the different economists and their approach is entirely different. They don't care even Amartya Sen. They don't care even Raghuram Rajan. They don't care the best performers of the financial sector in the world. They go accordingly. They want to put new slogans. They want to divide the people. Only because of that division, they can continue their power in the country. That is their thinking. Anyway, this is a very critical situation. When we discuss our national conference, INTC is going to have the plenary session on February 22nd and 23rd. There are lot of discussions take place. In that discussions, I want to declare here that at any cost, we want to continue this labor unity and workers unity, trade union unity. In whatever differences here and there is there, we have to sort out the difference and go and little more aggressive way. The farmers are on struggle, trade unions are on struggle, NGOs are on struggle. All the sectors in this country are on struggle to safeguard the benefits are already achieved. Everybody is struggling to protect the benefit achieved. Instead of getting more and more, we are now struggling for protecting the benefit achieved. So, under this situation, I once again appeal to all comrades here to have more serious look into the unity of trade unions and also to consider more political consensus to down these governments and safeguard the interests of the working class of this country. With these few words, I am quite happy Dr. Sanjeev Reddy was not able to come. He directed me to come here, and I always very happy to address the CITU conference. My very close association with Dr. Pandey and several other senior leaders in the CITU fold. We want to continue this brotherhood relationship, and also we hope better future for the working class in this country. Thank you. I again express my gratitude and sincere appreciation for this very historic conference at Bangalore by CITU in its 17th National Conference. I again congratulate you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
We thank Chandrasekharan ji for his greetings. Now I request Comrade Tapan, our General Secretary, to present a memento to Chandrasekharan ji.
Thank you. Oh, this is a wonderful bag. Yes. New technology bag.
Now I request Comrade Amarjit Kaur, General Secretary of AITUC, to greet the conference.
Comrade Chair of the session, the whole leadership of Citu sitting on the dais, my dear friends and comrades from other central trade unions, and dear to all of us, to you and us, Comrade Pambis, General Secretary of World Federation Trade Union, my dear comrades and friends, media persons for this open session. First of all, I would like to express my thanks and gratitude to Citu comrades for having invited me to give greetings on behalf of AITUC to 17th Conference, All India Conference of Citu. Comrades, for us, these conferences are not events. In our conferences, as I understand in AITUC, in Citu and others, when we trade unions meet in our conferences, that is the time for deliberations to understand what has been going on, what is happening today, and how we look at tomorrow. How we did in the past, how we have to gear up today, and how we have to meet the challenges which are facing on our face, how to handle the future. Definitely, I am very sure the deliberations in this conference will definitely enrich your experience. Whatever you did in the past as an organization, as a part of working class, not only in India, you are inseparable part of the working class movement in the world as such. Presence of WFTU Secretary General Comrade Pambis, that itself tells the commentary. So being part of that international community of workers who are fighting barbarism, brutal attack of world capitalism, pre-COVID of course, during COVID of course, and in the post-COVID period. So you will come out with more experience, with more learning, and this is year 2023, crucial year for all of us 2024 we are going to face another general election in the country. And we know that this situation is very gloomy, very, very serious. Never before in our country we were on crossroads as we are today. In India, we faced difficulties in various decades, in various situations. But under Modi regime, RSS BJP regime, India's freedom is threatened, sovereignty is threatened, unity, integrity is threatened, way of living together in peace and harmony is threatened, and the bread and butter of all those who are working, producing wealth, engaged in manufacture, in production activity, or in service activities, they are being put into testing times, their living standards reducing, jobs reducing, wages getting depressed, occupational safety being compromised. In every way, the working people of our country are in the receiving end. So in such grim situation, when economy is bad, unemployment is rising, prices are soaring high, in such a situation, the role of working class is immense. Working class will have to play its leading role in this particular period, especially when we are going to face general elections in 2024. And that's why government may claim otherwise, have been claiming always, and their claim is that economy is robust. People are very happy. Workers are praising government. Farmers are too happy. So everybody is happy under Modi rule. And now with those so-called chairmanship of G20, they want to tell the world India is robust economy, a great economy with all solutions of problems. But we know the reality. We know it's not only our trade unions and our workers in the government sector or in the public sector who are facing the heat of price rise and unemployment, outsourcing and contractorization, disinvestment and privatization, but almost more than 90% workforce in informal economy is under severe attack. It is becoming a question of survival for many of them. What did Crime Bureau report this year? Their report was, out of the suicide taking place in India, almost near 25% suicides happened of the daily wage laborers, casual laborers, those who live on everyday work. If the work is there, something goes in the family to eat the bread. If that day there is no work, family sleeps hungry. So if in the suicides, 25% our workers who do not have 25 days in a month work, and whatever little work they get, they don't have proper wages. No occupational safety, health at the work situations. So we know the ground reality. We know that poverty is rising. We know that homelessness is rising. All these things you are aware, we are aware, and your leadership through documentation and presentations, through serious deliberations, we will bring into focus several of the facts, data and statistics. What I want to say, my friends, last year when the Oxfam report came, lots of debate and discussion around that report. to pre-COVID and during COVID, the situation was utilized by the rulers who promote corporate sector, who promote big business, and who beat the working masses, who convert the language in a different tone. We, the workers who are wealth producers, we are termed as parasites, and those who earn because of their policies huge profits, cutthroat competition and huge profit, increase their wealth, accumulation of wealth happens. Our government, our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi says, they are the wealth producers. Those who are looting our work, looting our labor, looting the common masses, taking from the pockets of the poor downtrodden, filling the coffers of the high top echelons. Those top echelons who are looters, they are termed as wealth producers. Languages are manipulated. Definitions are being changed. Whole of understanding of political economy is being made topsy-turvy. In such a situation, when we were debating that Oxfam report, it told us that 102 billionaires increased to 142 billionaires in 1 year of lockdown period. And what is the report today of Oxfam? From that 102 billionaires, crorepati, kharapati, it is not 142, now it is 166. This is the latest Oxfam report. So billionaires are rising and poor are increasing in number. Accumulation of wealth in the hands of few, inequality, gaps rising, and this report says, from the previous report up till this report, that gap has further deepened. When in 2018, the 50% below year population was having about 13% of wealth at their disposal. Today's report says, which is printed just 3 days ago, it says, no, the share of wealth in the hands of 50% lowest population of our country is only 3%. So there is no improvement. It's deterioration. Child labor on rise, unemployment on rise, gaps on rise, and the wealth from the poor people going into the coffers of rich and affluent. In that background, it's horrifying that 1% of top population is owning 40.5% wealth in the country. One can give lots of figures, and when we ask pension to all, increase our wage, give us occupational safety measures, protect our children, spend more on education for them, increase the health budget, they say, you people keep demanding. You, the trade unions, organizing the workers, keep asking and asking. From where? From where the taxpayers' money should be distributed as doles to you. Is it the truth? This is not the truth. Every one of our workers, even the worker who committed suicide because there is no food at home, was also paying tax. There is a system of direct tax, there is a system of indirect tax. And indirect tax is many times more than the direct tax. The rich and affluent and the middle classes, they come in the direct tax category. And all our people population, including our unorganized workers, everybody is covered under indirect tax. And we pay almost 80% of the total revenue collection in this country. And they tell us on our face, why are you asking increase Manrega days? Why are you asking minimum wage should be increased? From where the government will give pension to all? We have nothing. This is how the government responds. Today I want to say, what is this Oxfam report telling? Just imagine, 64% of the total collection of GST has come from the lowest 50% population of our country. And that lowest 50% population is informal economy worker or a poor farmer, marginal farmer. And how much GST is paid by the big corporate houses? The top 10%, including corporates and little less, 10% of that population has shared. How much? Much less. Rather, I should say, top 4% population, their GST contribution is only 10%. And then they make the state governments to beg before them, pay our share, and the center will not listen to. We know these ground realities, and many more exposures are coming. Lots of data and statistics proves what we have been telling. We, the trade unions, have been continuously telling. There is no dearth of money to answer to our questions and to our demands, and covering everybody under pension, raising the minimum wage according to the International Indian Labour Conference, 15th Indian Labour Conference. All those possibilities are there. But the government has always been on denial mode. That's why, my friends, I don't want to take too much of your time. We have several speakers who will be addressing this open session. All these 5 days you will be debating. But I just want to repeat what we all witnessed, that how COVID-19 period, lockdown period, and sometimes lockdown, then unlocked, then again lockdown. That whole 2 years of period was hell for us. And that was the period used by Narendra Modi government to attack the farmers with 3 farm laws. That was the period to impose labor codes on us, to take away our rights, for which our predecessors fought for 150 years. Should we not be angry? Should we not be prepared to take headlong this government? That is the time they used for merger of banks, talking of privatization of banks, attacking our railways, our petroleum, our ports, our airports, every sector including electricity, every sector put under attack on this privatization plea. National monetization pipeline brought during that period to take away all of our infrastructure creation to be handed over to the corporate sector. So I am not surprised what I heard from Mr. Dhinkar, Vice President of India. I am not surprised what 5 days ago Shri Mohan Bhagwat of RSS said. I am not surprised. They have nothing to offer us on platter. They can't claim anything. How much employment? How much control on price rise? How much to the workers? What about pension? They have nothing to tell us. On every front they have failed. So on the one hand side, we have to utilize this whole year, campaigning, mobilizing, agitating, making awareness of our working masses, through them to the common masses, and going and telling them, look at the real face of this regime. And this regime has no right to stay in the power in 2024. We have to prepare that. But as because they know very well, they have nothing to offer, they have nothing to tell how much is accomplished of the promises made in 2014 or in 2019. 5 days ago, I was reading Sita Raman. She said we were committed for double earning of the farmer. It is going to happen. I don't know when it is going to happen. Farmers have shown their anger. They sat for 13 months on the borders of Delhi. Working class stood with them. All central trade unions were in solidarity with them. All that we accomplished. And our farmers showed their fighting spirit also. But now, as I am saying, our agenda is very clear. We will be moving ahead. And 30th January is the date chosen by the central trade unions for a national convention of workers. And the national convention of workers, the kind of agenda we are going to finalize, we had preliminary discussion on 14 January. On 24 January, central trade unions will be meeting again. And we will give final shape to our program. And from that National Convention of Workers on 30th January, that is the time we are not going to sit quietly. Every one of us, under our banners, our union members or our central trade union banners, we will have to be putting up the battle. But I remind you, what Vice President of India has said and what Mohan Bhagwat has said, I want to repeat here. They have set their election agenda. That's why it is very, very important for the working class. Keeping our unity, keeping unity of our masses, valuing the democratic secular values, core values of Indian Constitution, moving ahead as Indian citizens, rural and urban, to fight for our nation, to fight for our people, to fight to save Indian Constitution's core values. It becomes important. What did Dinkar say? I don't know. He is Dinakar or Dhankar. He is Dhankar, Vice President of India. Those sitting here from Bengal know that he was governor there. And what was his role as a governor there? He has been awarded with becoming a Vice President of India. What did he say? Every instrument of the government we know, Modi government has played with, skewed it. Its democratic functioning has been all decimated. We know it. Every instrument is being used against opposition, against trade unions, against farmers' movement, against intellectuals, against students, against artists, all sections of society, and the human rights activists, those who fight for SCs and STs. Every instrument is used. And now they have not spared even judiciary. Judiciary is being intimidated. We could understand that. But now, Vice President, who has a political understanding with the background of RSS BJP, he says, where is the question of judiciary being independent? Look from where this sentence is coming. He is saying judiciary should not be independent and is not independent. That means judiciary is also another arm of the government. This is the understanding of RSS BJP rulers. Second thing he said, not only this, he also said, why the people are talking of basic values and basic structure of Indian Constitution. Core values and basic structure. So he says, there is nothing like basic structure and core values of Indian Constitution. You can change the Constitution when you want to. So we have not been saying that amendments in Constitution can't be brought. But we have been saying preamble of the Constitution and the fundamental rights of the Constitution cannot be touched upon. And the big bench of Supreme Court has already ruled on this. If Vice President of India with a political background says this sentence, it has a very serious meaning. It means if they come to the power in 2024, they will simply be smashing Indian Constitution. Secular democracy will have no meaning. Goal of socialism will have no meaning. Equality and justice will have no meaning. Social justice will have no meaning, because they will tamper with the Constitution, rather they will change the Constitution. So the agenda is set. Agenda is on whatever our freedom fighters fought and got for India, the Indian Constitution, which gave us all those values which we wanted, for which Indian trade unions fought for. The second statement is of Mohan Bhagwat. What did he say? 1000 साल के बाद हिंदू जागा है. लाजमी बात है, हिंदू जागा है तो थोड़ा गुस्से में होगा, क्योंकि अभी जागा है ना. वो जागा है, इधर उधर देखेगा, करवट लेगा, फिर उठेगा, फिर मेरे साथ अन्याय हुआ, 1000 बरस मुझे लड़ना है. What is this nonsense statement? It's not a nonsense statement, my comrades. It's a very calculated statement to tell the nation and his bhaktas that the election should be fought once again on hatred, on polarization, on Hindu-Muslim discourse, because Modi government failed on all aspects. Now only use this communal card, hatred card, to win another election. That's why we have to understand what is our path. We have to understand how they are going to counter our path. And it's a battle, do and die battle. And we, trade unions, chose 30th January very wisely, because that is the day of martyrdom of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, who on the one hand side led Dandi March, that our natural resources are our natural resources. And on the other hand, Mahatma Gandhi, who was assassinated because he was for peace and harmonious living of all religious groups. So it has double meaning, clear meaning on two scores. And we, the working class, carrying forward the unity of our masses, fighting the assassinators of Mahatma Gandhi, those who are using him as a symbol for Swachh Bharat. Slowly and slowly his face is gone, only his spectacles remain, and one day those spectacles will also be gone from there. They use every situation just to enhance themselves. So we should know it. Who are ruling? We should know who we are. We should know what is their program. We know what is our program. So the battle lines are very clear. I came here just to express and share how ARTUC is feeling about, and knows very well our Citu comrades will be seriously deliberating all those issues. Your documents will be full of wisdom, Even after going back from your conference, those documents will be so useful for us and for you for the campaign in future. So I'm very confident that the 17th conference of Citu will be landmark. Our 42nd conference in Allah Puja, we came with clear understanding. We have to mobilize masses to create an environment to throw this regime out of power in 2024. And I am very sure you comrades will definitely be discussing and debating about and coming out with a fitting slogan from your All India conference. And here, in the end, comrades, I know at present the labor codes are not implemented. Our collective bargaining is under challenge if these labor codes are implemented. So it is not only economic benefits of our people, the policies of the nation for poor people and common people, which is our agenda. Our agenda is also the labor codes. Serious agenda with us. If they come to power, no trade unions. The way you are able to organize now, no rights will remain there. We will be thrown back into British era. So we have nothing to lose but our chains. That's what we have been telling when we organize the workers. So today, we once again assert, fight and fight, unite and fight to the end, so that we free our country from the yoke of RSS BJP rule, which is against workers, against farmers, against people, against our nation. So save the people, save the nation. That slogan united all the trade unions on 9th August campaigns, and I think this time also 9th August campaign will definitely find place in our joint declaration, which we are in the preparation. I salute all of you. I thank the Citu leadership, and with that salute, I raise a slogan: Inqilab Zindabad! Inqilab Zindabad! Workers' unity Zindabad! Workers' unity Zindabad! Trade union unity Zindabad! Trade union unity Zindabad! Thank you, comrades.
Thank you, Amarjit.
Yes, yes, please.
Before I invite the next speaker, I very humbly request all the speakers, because of the time constraints and the very tight schedule that we have, and some of the colleagues have also to leave because they have booked their tickets. Keeping in all these things in mind, I very humbly request the speakers to limit their greetings to 7 to 10 minutes. We are very sorry, but because of the constraint of the time, we are compelled to do that. So next speaker, VP Nagnath from HMS. He is the General Secretary of the Karnataka State Committee of HMS.
Yes, come on, you welcome.
Respected all CITU leaders, central leaders who are in dais. अजय 17 years का conference का today function should be success. I am General Secretary of Hindu Mazdoor Sabha, supporting to what CITU is taking decision. We are totally supporting them on behalf of Karnataka HMS. हमारा HMS का हरिभजन सिंह सिद्धू जी सेंट्रल ट्रेड यूनियन लीडर है, वो नेशनल लीडर है HMS का. उसका टोटली इज फाइटिंग फॉर रिगार्डिंग दिस अगेंस्ट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज. अभी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का पॉलिसी जो कर रहा है मोदी साहब ने, अभी 2014 से ये गवर्नमेंट आने के बाद हमारा ट्रेड यूनियन लोगों का कोई काम नहीं हो रहा है. उसका मर्जी से व्हाट एवर ही वांट ही इज डूइंग अगेंस्ट वर्कर्स, अगेंस्ट द ट्रेड यूनियन लीडर्स. सो इसका मतलब है वो कभी भी ये ट्रेड यूनियन लोगों को आगे बढ़ने को नहीं देना. वन मैन शो हो गया है, अभी वन मैन शो चल रहा है. इसलिए हम लोग सभी इकट्ठे होके जॉइंट ट्रेड यूनियन सभी लोग मिलके हम लड़ने का है आगे. अभी तो मोदी ने कितना क्रिएट कर रहे जीएसटी का, वो ईपीएफओ का प्रॉब्लम क्या है, वो सभी शेयर अमाउंट को डाल रहा है, पीएफ का अमाउंट लेके जाके. और दूसरा जो वर्कर्स का डिमांड्स है वो अभी 44 इसका पॉलिसी को ओनली 4 में जमा हो गया है. और किसानों का 1 साल 2 महीने तक उसका सही करते गए. लास्ट में बिकॉज ऑफ वो इलेक्शन पर्पस के उसका प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर दिया 3 लोगों को. सो ऐसा हमारा जो इंडिया में चल रहा है, हमारा मोदी गवर्नमेंट का अगेंस्ट चल रहा है. हम जो पूरे लोग सपोर्ट करते हैं. हमारा एचएमएस जो सीआईटी का को डिसीजन ले रहा है उसके लिए हम टोटली सपोर्ट है ऑल ओवर इंडिया से. सो अभी मोदी ने नया नया कानून लेके आ रहा है, उसको हम अपोज कर रहे हैं. हम इसके लिए आगे लड़ना है. एवरी ईयर प्रति एक साल को हमें 2 दिन का ऑल ओवर इंडिया का स्ट्राइक कर रहे हैं. 2016 से चल रहा है. 2 दिन दिल्ली में पार्लियामेंट रोड में हम जो 1 लाख लोग स्ट्राइक कर दिए, ऑल ट्रेड यूनियन वाले. टोटल एवरी 8 स्टेट वाले 1 लाख लोग वो स्ट्राइक करे, लेकिन वो किसी पेपर में नहीं आया, कोई टीवी में नहीं आया. वो तो भी सभी बंद करके उसको वैसा चला रहा है. सो इसलिए मैं हमारा रिक्वेस्ट इतना है एचएमएस से, सभी मिलके आगे बड़ा स्ट्राइक करना पड़ता है. वो 1 दिन का स्ट्राइक नहीं होता है. और जैसे किसान लोगों कैसे करे हम वो लोग, वैसा ही हमारा ऑल ट्रेड यूनियन वाले मिलके सभी वर्कर्स का डिमांड के लिए करना पड़ता है. रिगार्डिंग फैमिली पेंशन स्कीम, अभी रेलवे का हमारा एचएमएस का अफिलेटेड यूनियन है, हुबड़ी में कर दिया है. उनका भी डिमांड था ओल्ड पेंशन करने के लिए, उसके बारे में कोई बात नहीं है. ऐसा जो नया पेंशन स्कीम करा है वो इसको कोई पेंशनर्स को बेनिफिट नहीं होता आफ्टर रिटायरमेंट. सो मेनी डिमांड्स वो अभी कर रहा है. इसलिए हमें जो लड़ना है इसके लिए सभी मिलके करना है. आज का जो 17 इयर्स का जो सीआईटी का ये सेमिनार चल रहा है उसको हम सपोर्ट करें, उसको सक्सेस होना है. जो ऐसा ही हमारा सपोर्ट है बोल के मैं ये 2 बात करके खत्म करता हूँ. थैंक यू वेरी मच. Thank you.
Now I will request Comrade K. Somasekhar, Vice President of AIUTUC, to greet the conference. Comrade Somasekhar.
Respected President, respected General Secretary, WFTO, and the distinguished leader sitting on the dais, and comrade delegates. Firstly, on behalf of All India United Trade Union Center, AIUTUC, All India Committee, I wholeheartedly greet this conference. Warm revolutionary greetings, all of you, on the occasion of 17th All India Conference of CITU. Comrades, we are passing through a very critical situation. You all know how working class is attacked by this central government. Recently, one after another, anti-workers measures are taken by the central government. This capitalist system is a crisis-ridden system. It is a dying system. What we can expect from this system? This fascist government, it has unleashed the attack on trade union rights, hard-won rights. So here we have to seriously think over how to resist these anti-workers measures, policies taken by the central government. Comrades, you know, after the introduction of this globalization, privatization and liberalization policy, what is happening in our country? All public sectors, they are being privatized. Bank, insurance, railway, even electricity, education, health, everything is privatized. In whose interest this privatization policy are being introduced? We know it is in the interest of monopoly houses, in the interest of corporate companies. They want profit, they want market now. So easing of doing business, all these policies are introduced. And we know that 29 labor acts have been amended and passed in the parliament as 4 labor codes without discussing with any trade union leaders, without any consultation with the stakeholders. Is there any democracy in our country? No, comrades, it is a fascist government, out and out fascist government. Not only in our country, throughout the world we are seeing this. When capitalism came, when it was progressive, then it upheld the freedom, liberty, fraternity. Now this system is collapsing, dying. So comrades, we have to organize, we have to think over. Of course, central 10 trade unions, we are unitedly building nationwide workers' struggle against these policies. But here, I request, please ponder over this question. Glorious historic peasants' movement we have seen. 700 peasants, they gave their life against the black acts of agricultural privatization, what Modi has brought. They fought it like anything because of their struggle, united struggle, brave struggle. Ultimately, government has to withdraw those black acts. Here we have to think over seriously. I am requesting you. Why we are not able to organize such a militant mass movement? We supposed to organize such a movement. It is very much required. It is need of the hour. After the COVID, how workers, peasants, common people are being looted, exploited. Situation is very horrible. Life has become suffocating, miserable. Adani, Ambani, Tata, Birla, their profit is increased hourly, daily. Within a year, last year, Adani, his profit has increased 46%. Only 5% of this industrialists, they are controlling 60% wealth of this country. So by this we can understand how the central government is looting, exploiting, and whose interest it is protecting. Poverty is rising, unemployment is rising, highest in the country. Price rise, inflation. So in this background, we have to think seriously. So need of the hour is a massive militant movement, uncompromising struggle. Workers can change the world. But before that, they have to change themselves. Need of the hour is we have to change ourselves first. We know from the teachings of Comrade Lenin, within this capitalist system, worker is a wage slave. What can he expect? At best, some economic demands, not exploitation. So exploitation, oppression, suppression is the rule of this capitalist system. Globalization, liberalization means it is ruthless exploitation, cruel exploitation. How so-called these democratic governments behaved in time of COVID. Migrant workers, contract workers, unlicensed workers, how much they suffered. So this is the condition. Recently in Maharashtra, electricity employees, 32 organizations, they gave 72 hours strike call against the electricity of privatization. It became very successful, glorious, because of their united fight against the Maharashtra government. Maharashtra government requested Madhya Pradesh employees in this strike, but Madhya Pradesh employees, they refused to serve in Maharashtra. They supported workers' employees strike. So comrades, we have to move forward. Need of the hour is we have to sacrifice. A militant mass movement is required. I earnestly appeal you all, please think over. Surely you will discuss, deliberate on burning issues of our working class facing today. I hope this conference will strengthen the united workers movement. Not only that, we have to build up a massive, uncompromising struggle. So that way, I wish your conference will be a grand success. So I thank Citu leaders giving me opportunity to participate in this conference and express my revolutionary greetings to you all. Inqilab Jindabad, Workers Unity Jindabad. Thank you.
Comrades, now our honorary Subbarao.
No, no, you stand.
Okay. ఏం చేశారు? ఓకే. Comment Nagnath or Chandrasekhar. Comment Chandrasekhar. Please join.
Are you?
Go there to have a photo of Shanmugamji, all right?
It's all right.
Okay.
So 24th meeting, try to join. 24th January. Either through Zoom or physically.
Okay.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಬೇಕಾ?
Still holding hands.
KCTU ಜಿಂದಾಬಾದ್.
Zindabad, Zindabad,
ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಜಿಂದಾಬಾದ್.
Zindabad, Zindabad,
ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಜಿಂದಾಬಾದ್.
Zindabad, Zindabad.
दुनिया के मजदूर. दुनिया के मजदूर. इंकलाब जिंदाबाद.
जिंदाबाद,
जिंदाबाद. अब समझ में आई सिंधु की आवाज है. Now I request Comrade B. Rajendran Nair, National Secretary of TUCC, to address the conference.
Dear members of the Presidium, distinguished guests, dear comrades, friends, at the very outset, I, on behalf of Central Committee of Trade Union Coordination Center, express warm greetings to the 17th historic National Conference of Center of Indian Trade Unions. This conference is being held at a time when our country is facing severe socio-economic political crisis. The working class of India is facing multifarious challenges from the ruling cliques. The hard-earned labor rights have been curtailed by the government unilaterally amending the labor laws. The public sector undertaking, which were made out of sweat and blood of Indian people, are being sold by the government to private parties and corporates at thrown away prices. Indian Railway, Air India, LIC, Indian Telecom, coal and mines, port and dock, etc. are being either privatized or corporatized. The mechanism of tripartite discussion of resolving labor disputes have been either withdrawn or abandoned. We have abandoned labor system have been introduced to almost all sectors and thereby denying the rights of genuine rights of the workers. The government is totally relinquishing the responsibility to provide minimum social security for the workers of informal sectors. Due to the neo-liberalized policies, merger or acquisition have been become order of the day. Due to this merger and acquisition, thousands of people are losing their jobs and livelihoods. The private sector is exploiting the workers at many counts. There is no fixed time for job. That is why no fixed salary. Piecework and term work are rampant in private sector. In many sectors, the amended laws are not allowing the right of collective bargain of just rights. Nowadays, it has become very difficult to register in a trade union and made it a very cumbersome process. Our country is under the severe grip of economic slowdown or recession. No doubt it is due to the policies of the government and inept policy makers. The Modi government is hell-bent to satisfy the interest of kith and kin who support the BJP financially. The real impact of chronic capitalism is now clearly visible in our country. The ill-motivated demonetization and the half-baked GST implementation have brought the country's economy into brink of serious meltdown. When Narendra Modi government is publishing advertisement, Digital India, Make India, Startup India, Swachh Bharat, etc. in all the newspapers, digital ways, TV channels in daily basis. The real picture of India entirely different from this glittering publicity. India's performance in the area of like health, education, employment, women's status, hunger, nutrition, etc. are below compared to our neighboring countries. In our country, more than 90% of country's workforce is in the unorganized sector. They have been practically kept outside the purview of most of the labor laws and do not have any protection in respect of working hours, minimum wages, social security, around 65% to the country's GDP there, despite of them. Since the onset of neoliberal policy regime, the unorganized sector workforce is expanding. Regular or permanent workers in all sectors of economy, due to pressure from trade union and popular movements, the government after long dilly-dally enacted the Unorganized Social Security Act 2008, but say it is also a failure. The legislation, nothing but a fraud on the unorganized sector workers. The provisions of the said legislation practically through overwhelming majority of the unorganized sector. The schemes envisaged under the same almost all 10 social security or welfare schemes listed in the schedule are meant only for the poverty, persons below the poverty line. The official definition of poverty line is such that overwhelming majority of the unorganized sector workers will not qualify, therefore will not get any benefit to under these schemes. Therefore, the time has come to strengthen the united movement of the working class of our country. We are taking this opportunity to congratulate CITU on its efforts, streaming the joint movement of central trade unions. We are confident that this 17th National Conference of CITU will chart a detailed program for the joint trade union movement to protect the hard-earned rights of workers and their struggle for existence. We are taking the opportunity to reiterate that the TUCC will remain with the CITU in its struggles and endeavor to carry forward the struggle for workers' rights. We wish all success for the 17th National Congress of CITU. Long live fraternal relation between CITU and TUC. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Next, I invite Comrade Sonia George, National Secretary of SEWA, to greet the conference.
Respected Chair of the session, Comrade Hemlata, the Honorable President of CITU, the office bearers, especially the General Secretary, Comrade Tabanji, all senior trade union leaders of the country, all office bearers and leaders of CITU, greetings from SEWA, Self-Employed Women's Association, a central trade union in India who works only with the informal sector women workers. I'm happy to be here representing SEWA and bringing greetings to the 17th conference, National Conference of CITU. As all my senior leaders have spoken, the context is very important where we are standing now. It is not a very simple situation that we are dealing with. We are in the critical crossroads where life of people, life of the majority of the working class in this country is threatened by different forms of exploitation that we never experienced or expected to experience in the country. We thought when the trade union movements have begun their struggle in the world or in the country, we thought things will improve. The working class will have more organized rights in this country. But when you look back or when you look forward, the kind of reality that we are facing in terms of working class, we dreamt about an organized working class, but now we have to lament about an unorganized, the increasing informality in the country. Now there is a tendency in the country by the government to speak about before and after COVID. There is a feeling that whenever we go for any country level meetings, the government says that after COVID we have done so and so. After COVID or during COVID, the working class situations have been worsened. But they are completely forgetting before COVID what was happening to the working class in the country. Why 93% of the informal sector is going to be 95% is the question that we have to ask. When we talk about 8 hours of work, 8 hours of leisure, minimum social security, decent living wages for the workers, finally for decent work and living conditions, good livelihood situation for the workers, more and more workers are being pushed to the margins. And who are these people? The poor, the informal, the women workers, the Dalits, the Adivasis, people in the minorities, they are being pushed to the margins. There is no work. As all our comrades said, unemployment rate is increasing in this country. There is no money to pay for the social security of the workers in the country. When a certain class of workers employ or enjoy maximum social security in the country, the 93 or 94% are in the fringes. Even they don't have 1/10 of the social security that we dreamt about in this country as part of the united struggles. Is there any collective bargaining possible? All doors for collective bargaining are closing by this government. There is no tripartite consultation happening. The India is going to face its next budget in the next week. There is no tripartite consultation with the government, with the trade unions in the country. They called all the unions in the country for an hour meeting. 12 unions in the country. How many minutes can they speak representing the working class in the country? There is no ILC happening in the country for more than 5 years. It's around 8 years now. No collective bargaining in terms of employer-employee relationships. The entire workforce is changing. When we look at the past, when we started talking about capitalism, we talked about certain classes of workers getting marginalized. But now, as we have now they don't allow us to struggle. They will cut the salary if we strike. As part of the labor law reforms, there is no right to strike for a worker in this country. We become illegal, we will be thrown out as per employer's choice, and most of the labor laws, as per the new labor codes, will not apply for the informal sector workers. And who are these workers? The poor? We talk about migrant workers when we face the situation soon after COVID. But they are majority of the workers in the country who frantically wanted to go back to their origin states post-COVID. Where were these migrant workers always? What were their contribution to the country? The Dalits, Adivasis and the women workers in the country. The country has faced more than a year of struggles of the agricultural workers, the farmers. And finally, the government had to say that we are withdrawing the 3 laws that are against farmers. And now, this is time for us to raise the voice of the workers against the anti-labor codes which are throwing away workers from all the rights that they have been enjoyed. Women are getting even half the minimum wages of the country. Poor Adivasis work for 10 rupees a day in this country. They don't have proper working space. All the establishments have been decentralized. What sort of establishments have been talking about? We talk about all public sectors. All public sectors have been sold. When we come about NREGA, we say that, the government say that there is no money, there is no provision for NREGA workers. As Comrade Amrijit has rightly pointed out, where is the tax coming from? Where is the tax going to? How can the tax be calculated in the country? The non-performing assets of the country is increasing every year drastically. We can see that this is the result of the corporates, and majority of the non-performing assets that is listed in the country. I think what the latest report says that out of the 66.5 lakh crores of the non-performing assets in the country, last year itself, or the last rule of the Modi government, around 14.5 lakh crores have been written off. And on the other side, loans in the name of microcredits, loans in the name of entrepreneurship, loans in the name of beneficiaries have been increasing. Majority of the workers are in huge debts. Who are going to pay off the debts? And we have seen that most of these debts are in the name of women workers in this country. They are not paid even minimum wages. They don't have any social security right. They are not supposed to work with a proper employer contract, employee contract. Now we have seen the emergence of platform workers. We have seen the images of gig economy. We have been seeing the emergence of huge number of self-employed workers. And what is going to happen? None of these workers have employers. And in majority of the cases, government is supposed to be the employer. Are we ready to accept government as an employer? How are we going to form new forms of collective bargaining? When we talk about each national conferences, it is time for us to take stock, evaluate our function, evaluate the new situation that is emerging, the economic crisis that we are facing, the huge crisis that workers have been thrown into, the public assets being sold off, and the capital power, the crony capitalism trying to hold the workers strongly into unemployment, and also taking away all the rights from the workers. No social security. And have you seen or have you noticed all these years, all the benefits have been turned to many schemes rather than any employer-employee benefit. And that is the entire rights in the name of Pradhan Mantri. Pradhan Mantri is the biggest person in the country. Pradhan Mantri is the face of democratic capital rule in this country. Everything, Pradhan Mantri Yojanas are coming. All the welfare schemes have been scratched because of the labor codes. Especially, I represent Kerala. From a state like Kerala, where the informal sector and the workers have been enjoying so many benefits out of the welfare schemes in the state. Now, as part of Social Security Code, all the welfare schemes are going to be stopped. How the working class is going to respond? How are we going to talk about represent the struggling masses of the country? How are we going to talk about agricultural workers of this country? How are we going to talk domestic workers of the country? How are we going to talk about the home-based workers of the country, whom still I remember, a very ardent socialist feminist, Mariam, has talked in late 80s that home-based work is going to become the reality of the country. Many industrial sector will be scattered and home will become a workplace. Can we still think about establishments in homes, our own homes? Where is the workers' rights in the home, where majority of the workers in the country are working? Child labor in this country is increasing. Majority of our children sitting in the home are working. They are part of manufacturing industries. They are part of common industries. They are part of all production processes happening in the country. Every year, millions of children are put into child labor. Amidst the child labor law, anti-child labor law in the country. That means we are talking about workers who are not in the established work measure in the country. They are not in the statistics. They are not in the billions of workers in the country. They are not in the 500 crores of workers in the country. So, dear friends, dear comrades, it's a very critical situation. We are really pushed into margins. We don't have the space to talk. We don't have the space to collective bargain. I think it is time for us to rethink our strategies. It's time for us to think the unity of people who are sitting here representing the trade unions in the country. How do we fight against chronic capitalism? How do we fight against the corporates in the country? How do we fight against corporates who are taking our all livelihood schemes? It's our land, it's our water, oceans, it's our forest, it's our public space. Everything is being taken away. And how are we going to fight unitedly against this? It's a very, very, very crucial struggle. Are we going to bring all the women who are the workers in the struggle? Are we going to fight for minimum wages and support for the workers? Are we going to work for the safety of the occupational safety of the workers in this country? All these are very crucial questions that I feel in the 17th National Conference, CITU will address at different points, talking about the migrant workers, organizing the migrant workers in the country, building up systems that enable workers to fight for their rights, new forms of social bargaining, new forms of collective bargaining, including the marginalized in the struggle, including or talking about women who still struggle to survive in this community, in the family, in the question of identities, who have been pushed as part of violence, as part of domestic violence, as part of workplace violence. Let us bargain. Let us stand together. Let us unite together amidst, as always we say in the trade union platform, amidst the different colors of our flag, amidst the different ideological positions that we raise at different points. But the only thing that we have to take forward is workers' unity, bringing all workers together, not marginalizing. Let us bring the humanhood together, not brotherhood, not sisterhood, but let us bring the humanity, the humanitarian struggles together in this country towards a right-based perspective. And without us, this country cannot survive. And only with us, the country can move forward. And that is where we are putting our struggle at this juncture. I think, comrades, let us unite. 30th, the Common Convention will be a joint platform again to raise the unity of workers in this country. Thank you so much. And bringing all greetings and all comradeship and also unity amongst all the trade unions in the country. And just one more thing that I would like to say, that we are going to face another big event. We have been seeing that India is going to host G20 this year, and it has already started. And the government is trying to again disperse the workers in the name of Labor 20, L20. They are trying to disperse the workers in the country. They are trying to break the unity of the workers in terms of L20. But all of us have stood together and say, we will be together against the government. Whatever they try to diverse us or divide us, we will be together and we will stand together with the workers' interest in the country. Thank you so much. Once again, long live worker struggles Zindabad.
Now I request Comrade Clifton, National Secretary of AICCTU, to greet the conference.
Dear friends, dear comrades of Presidium, my colleagues of all central trade unions, General Secretary of FTU, and most importantly, all the delegates who are not just the delegates to the 17th All India Conference of CITU, but are also representatives of the working class of the entire country. I extend my revolutionary greetings to you all on behalf of AICCTU, the All India Central Council of Trade Unions. Dear friends, I'm not going to repeat what has already been said, but the reality of the working class, the reality of the working people of this country is before us. The precarious livelihoods, insecure jobs, the lack of social security, the fact that poverty is a reality for most of the working people is something that we accept. But we live in such incredible times that the ruling dispensation at the center says to the contrary. It says that everything is fine. Everything is going well in this country. Everyone is enjoying. There may be some problems here and there, but that is something that can be sorted out. I think this is the kind of paradoxical kind of situation that we live today. Incredibly, the same government which came to power saying that it will give 2 crore jobs, its economic policies have snatched away jobs from people. This is the kind of situation that we are in today. And some of our friends were also talking about the kind of policies that are resulting in the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few corporates. Today, everything is up for sale in this country. Various names are given to it. Make in India, National Monetization Pipeline, National Land Monetization Pipeline. But the sum and substance of all of this is systematic privatization and handing over of the infrastructure and wealth of the country like land, railways, roads, minerals and natural resources to the corporates. Every policy is in favor of the corporates. Demonetization, GST, tax rebates, tax holidays, corporate write-offs, loan waivers, etc., etc. These are some of the innumerable policies of the Modi government which are to service corporates. In such a time, the labor codes have come before us and there's going to be much debate, I would imagine, some planning about how to face this in this conference. But I'd like to remind one thing, that even before the labor codes came, previous regimes, they had 2 strategies to deny rights to workers despite the existence of these laws. The first was their dedication to the new economic policy. Their dedication to the capitalist economic model resulted in the non-implementation of most of these laws. So even if we talk about the Minimum Wage Act of 1948, the fact remains is that it is not implemented in a majority of the people. The second is the assault of the judiciary. The judiciary has interpreted labor laws so as to whittle away whatever labor protection the workers had. And today, in the form of the labor codes, what we have is not just amendments. This is a dismantling of the labor protections that the workers enjoyed till now. For instance, trade union rights, particularly the right to strike, is snatched away. Registration of trade unions is made cumbersome. Penal provisions for labor right violations are diluted. In fact, contract labor, which is nothing but modern day slavery, is encoded in the law, is given legal sanction by the codes. I would also like to remind our friends here that the labor conference was held in August at Tirupati, where labor ministers and labor officials attended this. Remarkably, there was not a single labor representative that was there at this meeting. And in this conference, Mr. Narendra Modi, he gave the inaugural speech in which, of course, he promoted and he tried to build a political consensus for these labor codes. These labor codes, in effect, they represent a blatant defense of capital by the Modi government and the contempt that it has for the workers and the working classes. I'd also like to add one more point, that there is a criminalization of working class struggles that is happening, which we cannot turn our eyes to. We remember that when the lockdown was declared, migrant workers in Surat went on a strike. They protested saying they wanted to go to their houses. In the middle of this lockdown, the Modi government did not stop to lathi charge them, tear gas them, arrest them and throw them into jail. We know the experience of the contract workers in Reliance Energy Mumbai who were fighting against contractualization and they were slapped with UAPA and thrown into jail. We also find that the police and the courts are being used as tools for prohibiting working class struggles, protests and strikes. Injunctions are passed by courts against terminated workers from carrying out peaceful sit-ins at the gates of factories. Criminal cases are filed against union leaders for protests against exploitation by the managements. With the coming of the new labor codes, the union government has made it clear that not only does it intend to destroy all the basic rights of the workers, but it will unleash its brutal force against the working class struggles. The open defense of capital by the Modi government is not merely a quid pro quo offered to the corporates for fund-rolling the BJP's election campaigns, but derives from an ideology that is inherently anti-worker. At its core, Hindutva or Hindutva fascism has sheer contempt for workers as rights-bearing, militant organized section demanding their rights, demanding their dues. On the contrary, it patronizes a relationship between the employers and the workers premised on gratitude, servility and subservience, which is encoded into law in the form of the labor codes. The neoliberal economic agenda and the resultant destitution of the working people has provided a base for fascist and authoritarian regimes to come to power across the world. In this overall global climate of rise in reactionary bourgeois regimes, in India, Hindutva returns in the unconditional defense of a crisis-ridden capitalism. Indeed, informalization of labor and poverty, coupled with communal rights in previous decades, and a fascist ideological onslaught now, makes working people a prey to these political influences. This is to blunt the revolutionary potential of the working class and simultaneously to manufacture a consent for Hindutva. The neoliberal project necessarily requires the crushing of the organizing and fighting capacity of the working class and their trade unions. This has now coalesced with Hindutva, an ideology that eschews a class-conscious, militant working class. However, the working class has a history and a subjective necessity to fight this assault. During the Indian freedom struggle, workers repeatedly rebuffed divisive communal politics and stood united to deliver spirited blows to the colonial powers. Even a fascist Nazi rule of Hitler faced a spirited fight from the working class within Germany. Today we find numerous instances of militant struggles even in our own country. The scheme workers, whether it is the ASHA workers, Anganwadi workers, midday meal workers, have been waging a brave battle in their demands. Sanitation workers have also been raging their struggles across the country, particularly in Karnataka. And here I must say that Friends of CITU along with AICCTU have waged a very strong struggle for the rights of Safai Karamcharis and have succeeded to the extent that now government has decided that all the Safai Karamcharis in the state of Karnataka working in the urban local bodies will be regularized. We also in our midst today are the workers of the Indian telephone industries, ITI, which is India's first public sector undertaking. These workers who are guised as contract workers were thrown out of their jobs 13 months ago. But for the past 13 months, they wage a valiant battle against the management and the union government, which is deaf to their demands. Many others in our midst are waging numerous such battles. We draw inspiration from the heroic struggle of the farmers, one of the largest protests in independent India. The union government bulldozed its way in parliament to pass the 3 anti-farmer laws. Yet the unprecedented farmers' movement brought this tyrannical regime to its knees. A defeated union government was compelled to finally repeal the farm laws. Militant struggles, without falling into the trap of economism, have to be our guiding norm. We have to learn from the fight of the farmers. Economic struggle, the struggle for immediate and direct improvement of conditions, cannot, as Lenin said, be exaggerated or underestimated. It is capable of rousing the most exploited sections of workers and has to be closely linked with the political struggle. The ongoing joint central trade union protests and strikes are necessary, but much more needs to be done, especially at the sectoral level and at the state level to ensure unity. The platform of central trade unions has proposed an All India Workers' Convention in Delhi on 30th January 2023, where workers across the country will assemble to devise a strategy for class solidarity and struggles to fight the attacks by the Modi government. Fighting caste and communal divisions among workers is essential in itself, and also for building working class consciousness and expressing a sense of unity and fraternity among the working class. These divisions of caste and religion hinders the working people from seeing the essence of the system which oppresses them and prevents them from becoming conscious of class solidarity. Bhagat Singh, who saw revolutionary Marxism as an answer to communalism, said that to prevent people from fighting each other, class consciousness is the need of the day. The poor laborers and the farmers must be clearly taught that their real enemy are the capitalists. The struggle of the working class against the capital class is a struggle against all exploiters and all exploitation. This is the essence of the working class consciousness. We see several spontaneous outbursts of workers across the country. In Karnataka, we saw it when garment workers protested against the PF amendment, and more recently, when the workers in Bistro and in Kolar had to struggle for their wages. These spontaneous struggles reveal the challenge before the organized trade unions to build the working class organizations and struggles against all sections of workers, organized or unorganized. The task today is to revive the militancy of the trade union struggles and to build a working class consciousness that inspires them to fight for their emancipation from the clutches of the ruling classes and their cruel exploitation. I, on behalf of AIC Citu, once again greet the 17th All India Conference of CITO a grand success. Inqilab Zindabad.
Now I request V. Veluswamy, National Secretary of LPF, to greet the conference.
Respected Chairperson of this 17th Conference of CITU, Comrade K. Hemlada, National President, CITU, the General Secretary of CITU, Comrade Tabansan, ex-MP, office bearers of CITU, the veteran trade union leaders who made their valuable presence on the dais, and the comrades who have come all the way from different parts of this country, and my dear brothers and sisters. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers of this conference, particularly Comrade Tabansan, for extending invitation to LPF to join this mega event. In fact, Comrade M. Shanmugam, Honorable Member of Parliament, who represents the working class at the Indian Parliament, and the General Secretary of LPF, is supposed to attend this conference, but his health condition does not allow to do so, and hence, based on his directives, I am standing in front of you, comrades. Comrades, I came to Bangalore to convey the best wishes of LPF to all of you. I came here with the heartfelt wishes of my General Secretary, Comrade M. Shanmugam, MP. Dear comrades, LPF and CITU have coincidence that LPF was founded on 1st May 1970 at Chennai, whereas the CITU was formed in the same month and the same year at Calcutta, but the date was little bit later, that is 30th May 1970. Since then, we have been working together for the cause of the working class and downtrodden people. I am very proud to see all the Central Trade Union leaders in one platform. The unified actions and united struggles could be seen for the more than 1 decade. Dear comrades, you are aware that the situation became very worst since from 2014, when Narendra Modi-led BJP government came to power. Common people of this great country have completely relied upon the promises of Narendra Modi and voted BJP to power.
But nothing has happened as they promised. He assured employment for 2 crore youths. But what happened? In reality, 4.5 crore workers have lost their jobs. Demonetization and GST have caused irreparable and irrecoverable damage to the Indian economy. Comrade Amarjit Gaur, during her speech, mentioned about the tax. I have seen a cartoon in the newspaper. One self-employed youth who is running a shop says, "This shop is mine. This capital is also mine. The labor is mine. The skill and talent which is required for this business is also mine. With great difficulty, after spending all the expenses, I could earn only 10% profit." Whereas the government, without doing any help or without making any contribution, is able to earn 28% GST and 25% income tax. Total 53%. The employee who has put all his efforts could earn only 10%, whereas the government is able to earn 53%. So that is why the young youth started asking and started making a plea to the government that please take my 10% profit and give me the 53% tax to me. I am of the opinion that he is right. Dear comrades, this present government do not find time to think about the farmers. They don't have time to think about the working class. They don't have time to think about the women. They don't have time to think about the students' welfare, but always have great concern on corporate giants like Ambani's and Adani's. This present government shows least importance to working class. I'm sorry, I should say it does not show any importance on the working class. For example, I would like to point out that the Indian Labour Conference, which has been considered as Parliament of Working Community, was supposed to convene every year to discuss the issues of workers. But what happened? Since 2015, the ILC has not been convened by the present BJP government. It does not mean that there is no issue of workers in the country. Government did not bother on our issues. If the dialogue takes place, there is a chance to discuss on our burning issues and try to resolve it. That is why now every sector of people in the country are in the war path. Modi-led BJP government has done nothing other than merger of this labor laws in the name of reforms, which turned out to be nothing but an attempt to completely dilute labor laws and make them employer friendly. Without proper consultation with the trade unions, without proper discussion in the parliament, the bills were passed just within few minutes because of their brutal majority. Comrades, you see, the 90% of the working class are deprived from all the basic protection. The employer can easily hire and fire the workers. The ceiling threshold for lockout have been revised to 300. You are aware that the previous governments used to call all the stakeholders before finalizing the budget. A full day will be allotted for trade unions. Likewise, another full day will be scheduled for employers, farmers, industrialists, etc. But the BJP government have been gradually lost their interest to discuss with trade unions and know their expectations. Recently, comrades, the Ministry of Finance have given a call to all the central trade unions for discussion on the proposed budget. We were happy since the government has come forward to discuss on the budget. Definitely, it is an opportunity for central trade unions to place their demands in front of the government. But after that only, we have shocked and surprised to know that only 15 minutes slot would be allotted to all the 12 central trade unions. It means one central trade union can place their demand within 1 minute. Is it not a mockery? Is it not a comedy? How the government is going, how the government is functioning. Another tragedy is that the national assets are being looted. Public sector undertaking which have contributed remarkably for the development of our nation are put into severe tarnish. BJP government have appointed an exclusive minister for disinvestment. A target is being fixed every year and try to achieve it by selling public sector undertakings with the throwaway prices to corporate companies in the guise of privatization and disinvestment of public sector units. Like our earlier speaker have told, BSNL, LIC of India, steel plants of Salem, Visakhapatnam and other public sector undertakings had over 50 lakh crore worth of properties across the country, and they needed to be protected in the interest of the public and the employees of the respective companies. Comrades, loss making is the only excuse to sell off the public properties. The national wealth created in the last 75 years of independent India cannot be looted with so-called privatization policy. Moreover, the government is not in a position to take the opinion of the public and stakeholders. They are not ready to take us into confidence before taking any such drastic action. There is no discussion in the parliament over such serious subjects which would have a long-term impact on the country. It is the opinion of the common man that further disinvestment of public sector units will be the worst thing to happen in the Indian economy. Privatization or disinvestment will ruin the indigenous manufacturing sector and will force the economy to depend on foreign funding. Comrades, recently, in the last year, April 25th of 2021, a landmark judgment has been given by Supreme Court of India, in which they have mentioned the Anganwadi workers are entitled to get the gratuity as per the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. But till today, the government do not bother to think about it. So government do not bother about any sector of people. BJP government have not bothered to found a single industry during their 10 years regime, but successfully collapsed and closing many industries. They have corporatized 220 years old ordnance factories where I was working and superannuated despite the strong protest of the defense employees. Though it leads to danger to the security of the nation, the government did not yield to the demand of the defense workers. There were no monetary demands placed before the government by the trade unions. The only demand what we have placed in front of the government was save the defense industry, save the national security. But it could not reach the deaf ears of BJP government. When the defense workers issued strike notice against the retrograde move of the present government, it has invoked EDSA, Essential Defense Services Act 2021, which is worse than the then Rowlatt Act by which strike have been banned. The farmers of this country, subcontinent, have proved that this government could be made to bow down. The year-long historical agitation at the borders of the capital Delhi have shaken the great Modi ji. Many farmers have lost their lives. Their sacrifice will not go into vain. We take the lesson from their struggle. We will play our constructive role in the forthcoming elections and see that this useless government is thrown out of power. We have to strengthen our unity further and unified struggle should continue. I hope that a crystal clear roadmap would be made on the conclusion day of this conference, that is on 22nd of this month, and I assure you that a joint effort would be made to succeed our genuine demands. I once again extend my hearty wishes to all of you for a grand success of this conference and will remain forever as historical honor. Inqilab Jindabad, Workers' Unity Jindabad. Thank you, comrades.
Now I request Comrade Ashok Ghosh, General Secretary of UTUC, to address the conference.
Hey, whose phone is this? No, no, आदरणीय अध्यक्ष जी, विश्व ट्रेड यूनियन फेडरेशन के महासचिव महोदय जी, हमारे केंद्रीय ट्रेड यूनियन संगठन की आदरणीय नेतागण और हमारे सामने देश के कोने कोने से आए हुए मजदूर वर्ग के प्रतिनिधिगण, भाई बहनों और कॉमरेड्स, सीआईटीयू के ये महत्वपूर्ण सम्मेलन में मुझे भाग लेने का मौका मिला, इसीलिए सीआईटीयू केंद्रीय नेतृत्व को भी एक दफे हार्दिक बधाई। यूटीयूसी के ओर से आप सबको मेरे दिल के अंदर से हार्दिक बधाई, लाल सलाम कॉमरेड। देखिए कॉमरेड, ये कोई भाषण की जरूरत है नहीं। देश खतरा में गिर गया, एकदम खतरा में गिर गया। आर्थिक क्षेत्रों में खतरा पैदा हो गया, सामाजिक क्षेत्रों में भी खतरा पैदा हो गया, राजनीतिक क्षेत्रों में तो जरूर खतरा पैदा हो गया और इसको बदलना पड़ेगा, इसको बदलना पड़ेगा। और बदलने के लिए मजदूर वर्ग के सामने एक रास्ता है, एक ही रास्ता है, लड़ाई का रास्ता है। हमारे देश में आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव चल रहा, 1947 से 2022 75 साल हमने बिता दिया, 75 साल देश बिता दिया, आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव चल रहा। लेकिन 2014 के बाद, 2014 के लोकसभा चुनाव के बाद सत्ता पे जो आया, जो सरकार पैदा हुआ, सत्ता पे आया, वो सरकार देश को टुकड़े टुकड़े कर दिया, एकदम टुकड़े टुकड़े। जात पात के विरोध, आदमी के अंदर, आम आदमी के अंदर एक भेदभाव पैदा कर दिया। जात पात के विरोध में हमारे ट्रेड यूनियन आंदोलन की भी समस्या पैदा हो गया। सरकार सत्ता पे आने के बाद ही सबसे बड़ा खतरनाक सिद्धांत लिया, नोटबंदी, एकदम नोटबंदी कर दिया, नोटबंदी। किसको फायदा हुआ? अब रिजर्व बैंक से जो हिसाब मिला, नोटबंदी के बाद सबसे नाफा हुआ भारतीय पूंजीपति वर्ग को।
मजदूर वर्ग के नहीं, मजदूर के लिए नहीं। मजदूर के लिए नुकसान नुकसान नुकसान, मजदूर वर्ग के लिए भूखमरी। लेकिन अचानक नोटबंदी कर दिया। दूसरा खतरा पैदा हो गया देश के सामने, जब सरकार, प्रधानमंत्री जी एक दिन अचानक घोषणा कर दिया लॉकडाउन, अचानक लॉकडाउन। आदमी कहां जाएगा, कहां घर लौटेंगे, कैसे घर लौटेंगे? एक परियायी माइग्रेंट वर्कर कहां जाएगा? किसी को बारे में सरकार कुछ नहीं सोचा। देश में कितना माइग्रेंट वर्कर है, सरकार के पास कोई हिसाब नहीं। देश के अंदर कितना, देश के बाहर कितना, कोई हिसाब सरकार के पास नहीं। लेकिन अचानक लॉकडाउन कर दिया, आदमी फिर भूखमरी में चला गया। और इसके बाद लेबर कोड, सबसे बड़ा हमला मजदूर वर्ग के ऊपर चालू हुआ, लागू हुआ लेबर कोड के माध्यम से। एक लूटने वाला सरकार पैदा हो गया सत्ता पे, लूटने वाला। जो मजदूर, उसको रोटी नहीं मिला, लेकिन एक लूटने वाला सरकार पैदा हो गया। मुझे ये कहना है, ये समूचा प्रॉब्लम, समूचा समस्या को वर्ग संघर्ष के दृष्टि से देखना पड़ेगा। वर्ग संघर्ष से दृष्टि से देखना पड़ेगा। ये कोई मामूली विषय नहीं। 50 करोड़ मजदूर के सवाल, 50 करोड़ मजदूर के रोटी रोजी के सवाल। हमने क्या मांगा? मजदूर वर्ग, देश के मजदूर वर्ग क्या मांगा? ज्यादा कुछ नहीं, छोटी मोटी रोटी कपड़ा मकान। 1000 साल से ज्यादा भी मजदूर वर्ग की ये लड़ाई चल रहा, रोटी कपड़ा मकान के लड़ाई। इससे ज्यादा कुछ मजदूर वर्ग मांगता भी नहीं। मैंने वो माँ को देखा, आज रास्ता पे वो माँ अपने बच्चे को गोद में लेकर, छोटे बच्चा, 1-2 साल के बच्चा को गोद में लेकर माँ धरना में बैठ गया। हमने वो मजदूर को देखा, जो मजदूर को खाना नहीं मिला लेकिन धरना में बैठ गया, रोटी कपड़ा के लिए, रोटी कपड़ा मकान के लिए धरना में बैठ गया। आज मैं ये जरूर कहूंगा, एक बात हम सबको सोचना पड़ेगा, मन में लेना पड़ेगा। जब तक ये सरकार सत्ता पे रहेगा, तब तक हमें भूखमरी में चलना पड़ेगा। ये सरकार को सत्ता से हटाना पड़ेगा। एक बात हम सबको मन में जोर से जोर पूर्वक एक भावना मन में हमको संगठित करना पड़ेगा। हम सबको, ये सरकार नीति बदल करो, सरकार नीति बदल करो, नहीं तो जनता सड़क पे उतर गया और उतर जाएगा। जनता सड़क पे, मां बहन लोग सड़क पे उतर गया। और जो देश में मां बहन लोग रास्ता में उतर के रोटी मांगता, जो देश में मां अपना बच्चे को गोद में लेकर रोटी मांगता, वो देश को सत्यानाश कर दिया, आम जनता को सत्यानाश कर दिया। ये सरकार को एक धक्का और दो, ये सरीकली सरकार को एक धक्का और देना होगा। मैं ये कहूंगा, सरकार तुम नीति बदल करो, नहीं तो जनता सड़क पे उतर गया, जनता तुम्हें बदल देगा, जनता तुम्हें बदल देगा। दिन आने वाला है, 2024 में वो दिन आने वाला है जहां सरकार को बदल करना पड़ेगा। ट्रेड यूनियन आंदोलन के सामने यह सबसे बड़ा काम होगा। हमें लड़ना है। कमरेड, ये विश्वास हमें पैदा करना, हमारा मन में पैदा करना है। मजदूर वर्ग असल एकमात्र शक्ति मजदूर वर्ग को लड़ना है। अपना झंडा, लाल झंडा, अपना झंडा लेकर चलना है। और हमारे अंदर, हमारे बीच में जो इकाई पैदा हुआ, 10 ट्रेड यूनियन को जो इकाई पैदा हुआ, वो इकाई को मजबूत करना पड़ेगा। ज्यादा से ज्यादा मजबूत करना पड़ेगा। हमारे लड़ाई कोई ट्रेड यूनियन कन्वेंशन, कोई सम्मेलन के माध्यम से खत्म नहीं होगा। ये लड़ाई के एकदम नीचे तला तक, प्लांट लेवल तक, कारखाना तक, गांव गांव के अंदर, शहर शहर के अंदर, सब हर क्षेत्रों में ये लड़ाई को ले जाना पड़ेगा और लाखों लाखों आदमी को ये लड़ाई में शामिल करना पड़ेगा। बात एकदम सीधा बात, हमें लड़ना है, हमें जीतना है। मजदूर वर्ग कभी हारा नहीं। हमारे लिए हम छोटा मोटा रोटी कपड़ा मकान मांगते हैं, लेकिन रोटी कपड़ा मकान तो जरूर हम छीन के लेंगे। वो तो हमारा हक है, हमारा अधिकार है, लेकिन पूरा दुनिया है हमारे लिए। हम जब कहते हैं दुनिया के मजदूर एक हो, ये कोई सिंपल नारा नहीं, ये कोई स्लोगन, लेकिन ये स्लोगन हमें कामयाब करना है। कॉमरेड, हमें लड़ना है, हमें जीतना है। हम लड़ेंगे, हम जीतेंगे, ये है आज का नारा। ये कह के यूटीयूसी के ओर से आपको सबको हार्दिक बधाई। मुझे यकीन है, मुझे विश्वास है, हमारे सामने हजारों के ऊपर डेलीगेट। एक रास्ता आपको निकालना पड़ेगा, एक रास्ता आपको चुनना पड़ेगा, जो रास्ता से ट्रेड यूनियन लड़ाई आगे बढ़ेगा। वो आगे बढ़ने वाला रास्ता आपको चुनना पड़ेगा, आपको निर्णय करना पड़ेगा। मैं जानता हूं हमारे देश के ट्रेड यूनियन संगठन के अंदर सीआईटीयू बड़ा संगठन, लड़ाकू संगठन, ये लड़ाकू संगठन के प्रतिनिधि वर्ग आप लोग, आपको रास्ता चुनना पड़ेगा, आपको रास्ता दिखाना पड़ेगा। सामने दिन जो लड़ाई के दिन, ये लड़ाई को कामयाब करना होगा। हमें जीतना है, हमें लड़ना है। इसी के साथ मैं कहते हैं यूटीयूसी के ओर से एक सबको लाल सलाम कॉमरेड।
Comrades, now the General Secretary of the Reception Committee, National Secretary and also General Secretary of the Karnataka State Committee of CITU, Comrade Meenakshi Sundaram, will propose the vote of thanks.
Comrades, it's a time to thank our beloved guests and invitees, fraternal trade union leaders. First of all, I want to thank Comrade Pampis Kritis from WFTU. It's all General Secretary of WFTU. I thank from All India CITU Center for his participation in this conference. He is going to be with us for some more days in this conference. And likely, especially we want to extend thanks for our fraternal trade union leaders, particularly the INTUC Vice President, Comrade R. Chandrasekharan, and AITUC General Secretary, Comrade Amarjit Gaur, Comrade Nagnath from HMS, Comrade K. Somshekhar from AIUTUC, Comrade B. Rajendran Nair from TUCC, Comrade Sonia George from SEVA, Comrade Clifton from AICCTU, Comrade B. Veluswamy from LPF, Comrade Ashok Ghosh from UTUC. Apart from that, lot of dignitaries and various guests present here. I do not want to name everyone. I thank them all for their coming here, presenting their views, and we will go unitedly against the onslaught of working class, that the united struggle develops further. And with this, we are concluding the open session. There are some important announcements there for the comrades, the delegate comrades. Yes, I want to make that announcements now. Comrade, you know, the dining hall is very small one. We need your cooperation. After this session, our guests will go for dinner first, and then the delegate comrades from Kerala and West Bengal, they have to immediately go. After 20 minutes, all other states should go for lunch. Because that lunch timing and everybody goes there, it will become crowded. So I repeat, the first comrades from West Bengal and Kerala, they have to go immediately after the guests. Comrade, please sit. Comrade, please sit. There are some more announcements, please. Unless President announced, don't get up. Please. After West Bengal, 20 minutes. Kerala and West Bengal, 20 minutes, all other states. In between, many delegates have not registered. So immediately they have to go to the registration counter and complete their registration process. That please follow. And one more important announcement is, the toilets and wash basins are there only in the dining hall. We request your help to keep it clean and tidy. Don't put waste papers there, only throw dustbins. And after, the used plates should not be placed everywhere. That should be handed over to the place mentioned for that. So that will maintain that other people coming late to dinner, that will help. And particularly water bottles. The big problem is once you take the water bottle, completely drink the water. Don't waste it. Because many of the comrades they are simply 2-3 drops and leaving the bottle there and no one is using that. Please don't waste, it is creating a mess up there. And there are 4 food counters. You can get main course there, 2 food counters at this side to have the extra meal. So please cooperate. And the batch should be maintained clearly. And comrades from Karnataka, all volunteer comrades, ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ವಾಲಂಟಿಯರ್ ಕಾಮ್ರೇಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ 2:30ಗೆ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲು ಯಾರು ಹೋಗಬಾರದು. ಮೊದಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಡೆಲಿಗೇಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತಹ ತೊಂದರೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬಾರದು ಅಂತ ವಿನಂತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. All our delegate comrades, you will be issued with a diary. That diary can be used to note it down, whatever the proceedings are going on. In that diary, Karnataka office bearer's phone number is there. If you have any problem or requests or any help, please use the numbers and call them. They will provide you that whatever that possible help. At various difficult political situations, we are organizing this conference. There may be some loopholes or some shortcomings. I hope the entire delegation will cooperate with us. With that, I thank you all for patient hearing, and particularly we extend a special thanks to our media representatives and all other well-wishers who are working with us to make this conference a great success. Thank you, comrades.
Comrades, please sit. First of all, I thank you all, really, for the very patient hearing without even a tea break. So, before concluding this session and going for lunch, there are a few announcements. Those comrades who have not registered, please register whenever it is convenient during this lunch break. And also another announcement, the West Bengal comrades, they have to meet after lunch. The West Bengal comrades will go for lunch in the first part. So after that at 2:30, they are requested to meet on the left side of this munch. Then those who have brought cars and vehicles, please don't park in front of the exhibition stalls. So now we'll go break for lunch and we'll start the session at 3:15 p.m. Exactly by 3:15 p.m., all the delegates are requested to be present in their